Hi, everyone. It's Nea Clare with the Light Up, and I am excited that March is here. We had to cancel last month, so some of you know that my family got run down by COVID, which was just lovely, but we're all good. We bounced very, very well and are super ready for March. And let me tell you, this is um, it's Women's History Month. It's women. We just passed International Women's Day, and it is going to be a lineup of amazing women. I am so excited just thinking about it. And I'm excited to talk with Mary Newstrom, who is our guest today. I love to be able to introduce all of you to the different practitioners, vendors, guest speakers that we have at the Light Up so you can get to know them. You can find out a little bit about them, and hopefully you come visit them at the event, which I would love. And so again, we'll be on March 26th. And Mary, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad.
So glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you. And we are going to get to know a little bit about you. And Mary and I should have looked at when we first connected, like what year it was, but it has been a long time. We have known each other a while. And we did some work together, gosh, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I want to say, at kind of the beginning of your journey, of your process, it's so exciting to see what you're up to and what you're doing in the world. And I would love for everyone to get to know you and hear about what you're up to and the work that you do. So would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I think, Nia, it was right around 2016.
Wow. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
That's 6 years. I'm sorry. That seems like another lifetime ago, but totally. I think you're right. I think you're 100%. Well, you would know because this was like a really pivotal time in your life. So yes.
Well, just a little bit more about me. I am the founder of Zenith High. It's a training and wellness center in St. Louis Park. And I'm the creator of Spirit Flow, which is a shamanic studies program. And the way I like to sum up what I do is that I teach people how to access and communicate with their spiritual team and spirit guides, spirit animals, the spirits of plants, to access them in a different dimension for healing, for messages. And I do that through teaching the spirituality of shamanism. And shamanism is the oldest spirituality in the world. It's been practiced everywhere, which means that everyone more than likely has lineage leading back to a family member that's been a shaman. Mine go back to Nordic and Germanic shamanism. So think Odin and Thor and Freya. And, I do shamanic healings, and I do the workshops and teachings, and I do cacao ceremonies. So a lot of different things. That's kind of wraps up what I do.
Yeah. I love it. I think when people think about shamanism, I think there's a variety, right?
Yeah.
Like you just talked about the lineage and where that comes from. How did you get into this? How did you discover this? Because you're not working with Nordic shamanism that I'm aware of. Maybe you are now, but tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I got into it I've always been interested in metaphysical, dimensional, spiritual, paranormal things, even as a little girl, and was really exploring all of that when my spirit guide came to me in the 80s, came to me in a dream. And so I've been working with my spirit guide since the 80s. And as time went on, I started working with other teachers, and in the 90s took my first shamanic journey, all the while having a traditional life too, having traditional jobs, and got my master's degree and PhD. So I've had these very different tracks. I see they're interconnected. I don't see them split, but I just like to mention that one's very traditional with, the PhD dissertation. I got done with the dissertation in 2015 and decided I was going to celebrate by going to Peru. And this will answer your question. Went to Peru got introduced to Shipibo shamans, and really felt like I'd come home.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was my spirituality. And I've gone back every year since and work with them. And that's actually, people have the opportunity now to go with me and work with my shamans if you want, in the jungle of the Amazon. I go in July. And through working with them, the plant medicine, it just really unfolded that I needed to come back here and help others with healings, shamanic healings, teachings.
Yeah.
So to bring everything back.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I know it has been a labor of love for
Yeah.
you. Like I've watched you like grow in what you're doing. It's so exciting. And so when you think about ways that you describe, when somebody says, okay, shamanism, what is this? What is it? What does that look like? Because I know it's spiritual, but we have certain ideas, right? People who are not familiar.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Because my idea of shamanism is that we're all interconnected. We're interconnected into this this web of life, and that we're connected. It's easy to think, well, you and I are connected, and we're connected to our pets, but we're also connected to the trees and nature. And you could even go so far as possibly anything, because everything is vibrating. Because we do know that everything has molecules and it's moving and so on, even our like tables and things. But I look at shamanism as that connection to the world and nature, and also as a way for people to really get to know their guides. I can't tell you how much I am shocked when I first learned that people didn't know who their spiritual guides were, the guardian angels, whatever words you want to use, because I could not be maneuvering through this complicated world without my guide, Zenith. And like I said, we have a long history of working together. I named my healing and training practice after him. And my goal is to help people really be able to, in a safe and systematic way, access their guides, understand what they are saying, and maybe for healing or for a message. But so shamanism really is looking at the light and our guides, and there to make sure that we are in harmony and balance in the world.
I love that. I love that. I think, when I think about most of the people that I've worked with or the people that I talk to, one of the biggest challenges that they have is that sense of balance, even though they might not call it that. It's that let's even go a different word beyond that, which I like, the word harmony.
Yes.
Is to be in harmony with the world in which they live, with the community in which they are in. And what it sounds like is, for you, the way that you're describing this, and I love it, is that working with your guides, and this has been my experience as well, working with your guides helps you in navigating that and to tap into that harmony. I think that's so important. And so when you're working with people, when you're teaching classes, when you're doing this, how do you find it to be helpful? How do they get in touch with their guides?
When people attend my workshops or my school shamanic study program called Spirit Flow, which starts in April, I teach them how to do a very traditional shamanic journey. So we use the drum, which actually helps you go into your brainwave go into a different frequency. And so it's teaching people how to go into a different dimension that traditionally has been called non-ordinary reality. But now the word multiverse, however, the words change, but the concepts are the same. So shamanically, we've been journeying into multiverses for thousands of years, just because we don't call it a dimension anymore. So I teach people how to go into a different multiverse, access their guides, and then come back and then also interpret them, because it's not always like, yes, you should do this, you should do that. It's more like a visual, it's more like a metaphor, and how to unpack that. So think more like a dream. Well, what does that mean? And a person with practice will get experienced in the way that you'll understand what they're saying to you. But that's how I work with having people understand who's on their spiritual team. So it's also who's the spirit guides, who's the spirit animals that are with you. And also my students, because I work with plants so much, develop guides that are in the form of plants. So the spirit of plants or trees, things
I
like that.
love that. I love that. I love that because I think I will say during COVID, I found myself much more, well, I was at home more, right? And so in my yard, and it brought me much more connected to my environment and to the plants. And we had another teacher, healer, herbalist who was part of the Light Up, Phyllis Jaworski, who talks about how plants tell us what is needed because they're always working with us, our environment. And I started to notice that. And so I love that you're talking about that. I think we kind of have this idea that animals we can connect with, but plants, no, now you're getting a little weird here, Mary. You're just a little out there. Not that you weren't before, right? But I think that we long for that that deeper connection to our environment as well. And the more that we have that, there, like, things shift for us. I know I started to just realize how being connected with my environment brings me into that state of harmony as well.
Yeah. Nature's our number one healer. I do think that the reason why we see a resurgence in spirituality based in nature, such as shamanism, and there's other ones too, of course, but is the fact that, yes, just like what you said, is people want to feel that connection to nature. People are understanding, and there's research now that shows that plants clearly are feeling things, and when they see someone they don't like, they have reactions or they like, and I would say even for people viewing this, if you have an affinity and you love one of your plants or your plants, all of them, or a flower, you're probably already interacting with the spirit of that plant or flower and you just don't know it.
Yeah, totally agree. I love that. And I think I am so glad that you've started this school. I remember your initial class talking to you about it. I'm doing it, Nea. I'm doing this. I'm like, yes, you are. And how it's grown. I mean, tell us about your school.
Well, it's called Spirit Flow. Right now it's for women. It's a shamanic study program for women. And down the line, I might launch one for guys too. And it started as a 1-year program. But when I got done with the 1-year program 5 years ago, women were like, well, what's next? And so it has developed into a 4-year program that women can opt into each year as they go. The first year is really looking at who's on your spiritual team, how to access them, everything we talked about, the foundations of shamanism. The second year is looking at, okay, I know a little bit more about me and my team. What does that mean with how I operate in the world? So being a spiritual person in the world, being maybe a spiritual activist, whatever word you want to use. And then we also start looking at doing some basic shamanic healing. I teach the students how to do a power animal retrieval, some really basic things for shamanism. And then we end the second year with looking at death doula work, which is actually in shamanism called psychopomp work, assisting if people might be transitioning, how to be with them and what that means. And then if people are so interested, maybe going into a different dimension and assisting and helping them with their transition. It's beautiful. And a lot of people are very interested in that. And then the third year is master classes. I teach students how to do soul retrievals, release stuck energy, unravel energy that might be holding you back. And then the fourth year is working closely with me in wrapping it all up, more of like a mentoring apprenticeship. And one thing, Nea, too, that I want to mention too, some people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to be a practitioner. I don't know if I want to do this. I will meet anyone where they are. And if they want to be the best grandmother, mother, this program's still for them. It's still for them.
Well, I think that matches what you're talking about with harmony, because if I have to force myself into that, it matches your integrity shows through everything that you've created. I can feel that as you're talking about it. And I do think we set up those blocks. I mean, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do that. The best thing you can do is, if you feel that calling, if you feel that urge, say yes.
Yes.
Check it out, because no matter what, you'll be left in a better place. You'll be left with more knowledge, and it may be a breadcrumb on a trail, or it may be the head, the head of the trail that you're trying to get into. I have found that to be true in my work and the work that I do with others, is the more that we can trust that inner nudge to go, oh gosh, what she's talking about, I have an affinity for what Mary's saying. I need to work with her. I need to check that out. Well, then go check it out by all means.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get so caught up in trying to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the right thing is just being willing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that.
And absolutely. And actually, I think the teachings are important, but just as important that people keep coming back is the community. You will step into a community of 70, 80 women that are thinking and on the same vibration as you are. Yeah. And if people are interested, all the information about year one is on my website, zenithhigh.com. The application's there, the dates we're going to meet for that first year. Check it out.
I love it. I love it. Well, Mary, I am excited to have you be at the Light Up. So
yes, absolutely. Me
too.
So
Mary filled out an application, right? She did the thing. So if anybody's out there and you're like, hey, how do I get to be part of the Light Up? You fill out an application. I know that sounds crazy, but it starts there. Yeah. And so, Mary, you're going to be one of our practitioners. So you're going to be offering a service. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I've given this a lot of thought, and the way the structure is, it's like we want to do something very short but powerful that's going to impact. And I think what I can do, one of the gifts I can do that my guides have, they assist me in doing this. They do it and they just tell me, so I give them all the credit, is I can tell someone who one of their spirit animals is, and I can do it very quickly. So what I'm going to offer is people coming in and have a short healing. We're going to balance and recharge their chakras. I do that through toning and shamanic work. And as I'm tapped into their energy, my guides formulate a picture. Sometimes it's words. And I will then tell them who their spirit animal is and a few messages of what's the medicine, what's the energy they're bringing into their lives at this point. That's what I'm going to offer. And I think I should be able to get through a lot of people. So everybody come on down. This is your chance.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I think it's going to be so fun and so powerful. I already can feel it when you're talking about it. I'm like, I'm going to come over and check it out, because this is one of the benefits of putting on a show, right? I can check it all out. There is a selfishness in what I do. The selfishness is that I get to be around amazing people and get a chance to connect with them, which is why we created the Light Up, which is why this is so important. And Mary, I am so delighted to have you there. I think it's going to be a blast. I think we have an amazing lineup of people, and if you like this interview, come back, check us out. We're going to be doing more over the next 2 weeks. So what have you got coming up that people should know about?
I have I created this. It's a cacao cleanse. Nice. And it is over 10 days. It is the ceremonies when we meet are on Zoom. It's at the end of April. It's a cleanse that I designed loosely on the cleanse when I'm in Peru. So when I go to Peru, clean eating, work with plant medicine there. Now, of course, I can't work with the same plants that we do there.
Right.
But we can work with chocolate. That is very legal. So cacao is actually a very revered plant in Peru. And there's actually a Mayan myth that when the world is out of harmony or balance, cacao will come out of the rainforest and create that harmony. And it has. And that's why I do cacao ceremonies. This cleanse will hold 3 ceremonies over Zoom. I will send you a meal plan. You'll interact with the spirit of cacao every day. It is transformational, Nea. I can't tell you, people get blown away. They're transformed.
Wonderful. Well, I hope everybody's hearing this. And if you're not watching it live, definitely check it out. We'll put information, a link to that in the comments afterwards so that everyone will get it. Mary, what a delight. It's so good to be in your energy again and to be This is what happens after COVID. We need to see each other. So I'm so excited. I love hearing about it. I love hearing about what you're up to. And I can't wait to see you live and in person at the Light Up on the 26th. So we will see you there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You guys have a good one and get your tickets. Link in the comments. Thanks.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. See you there.
Bye.